you, and I'll remind you once we start recording that this meeting is recorded, so your presentation will be recorded, and that you will have 5 minutes to address the board.
No swear words.
Please, no swear words. All right, good morning and welcome to our 3rd of May Mercury Bay Community Board meeting. I would like to, are we opening with a karakia?
Yes, can do.
Beth is going to, sorry, Beth, thank you.
Tū tawa mai ki runga, tū tawa mai ki raro, tū tawa mai ki waho, tū tawa mai ki roto. Kia tau ai te mauri tū, te mauri ora, ki runga e te katoa. Come forth from above, from within the environment. Goodness and mercies and all those good things, all together in unity. Amen.
Thank you, Bess. Right, do we have any apologies? I know that we have Chrissy Robertson online and we have Dally Connell online. Hello, Dally, I can see you there. Any other apologies? No? So we'll move on to public forum, and I'd just like to remind all of our speakers that this meeting is recorded and that you have 5 minutes to address the board. So if Peter, would you like to be our first speaker? Would you like to join us at the table? Yes. Welcome. Thank you for coming in this morning.
Thank you for letting me do this. I will leave the presentation behind when I go. The minutes of the last meeting were kindly brought to me, but I always thought that there would be a set of hard copy minutes in the public area before each meeting from the last meeting. Just a thought there. You are our representatives to the council, and you take the ideas to there, and I have to think sometimes who sets the order paper. Anyway, my presentation. An opposition to managed retreat as an answer to sea erosion of the foreshore. Why am I doing this? Because firstly, the concrete areas and foundations that are under the houses will be very messy to remove and allow the sea easier access. In other words, you'd be disturbing the top of the foreshore and it's going to go faster. The cost of retreat is beyond people still paying off mortgages. Unaffected folk do not want to subsidise the removal of expensive foreshore buildings. I have tongue-in-cheek a little bit as I wrote that. Not in my backyard was the one I was thinking of. Can car owners afford the renewal of foreshore highways? There's been some heavy damage to the Thames Coast Road and it's been measured in millions. So we can expect that climate change is going to do that to our coast as well. There is little or no land left to retreat to that is not already in use. So every time I see managed retreat, I question whether there is a place to put these buildings, or new buildings. Increasing population worldwide needs as much land as possible to grow food, not cover it with housing. Raising housing on poles may need to be encouraged or permitted by the council. With planned interlocking rock or concrete blocks that can resist erosion by the foreshore armouring, It will give humanity time to maybe find a solution to climate change, the elephant in the room. Climate change and sea level rise are now established with an expectation of foreshore loss and inundation of food-producing land areas. This talk, if you agree with it, needs a motion on the books that rag walling on the seashores has become necessary, and resources should be spent on this and not managed retreat, where the ocean will follow anyway. That concludes my presentation. Are there any questions?
Does anyone have any questions for Peter?
Thank you.
No. Thank you. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you, Peter.
Now, do we have anyone else that would like to address the board in public forum? No? Nope. Okay, all right. May I have a mover and a seconder to receive our public forum, please? Bess and John, all those in favour?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Carried. Any conflicts of interest? Any items not on the agenda? Right, so that takes us to item 1.6, which is our minutes for confirmation on page 3. Can I have a mover and a seconder, please, for those minutes?
I'll move. I'll second.
Thank you. Any comments? All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Carried. Right, next item is 2.1, which is the Mercury Bay Community Board correspondence report on page 11. May I have a mover and a seconder for the report, please?
I'll move. I'll second.
Thank you.
Sorry, I didn't catch that.
John and Peter. Any discussion? I had one question, and that is, should these letters not be attached for a complete set of minutes? Should the letters not make up?
We did talk about that, but they had already been sent out to the board previously, and they did contain people's email addresses and things like that. So it was really intended just as a light way of saying, we sent those and you've had them, just as sort of tick off that we had responded.
All right.
You can put them there if you think it's of more value, but
I don't know, I just sort of thought if someone was picking this up and you've sort of read the summary of the public forum, would it make sense? But we can pick this up
What about for
afterwards.
future reference?
Yeah, then you read it and it becomes a bit more of a complete document.
Yep.
we can look at that. We just have to redact contact details and stuff, but they
Yeah.
are often just, thank you for attending public forum of
Okay.
quite brief.
All right. Anyone else have any comments on our correspondence report? Okay. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Carried. Right, that takes us to item 3.1, which is our CapEx work programme and other operational information updates on page 12. May I have a mover and a seconder to receive this report, please? Bess
Yes.
and John, thank you. Right, do we have any comments?
Yep, I've got a couple, if I may.
Yes, you may.
Re the Whitianga Esplanade redevelopment.
Yes.
I note that it says that an advisory group will be formed. And I'm just asking, is Andrew online?
I think Dean can speak to that.
Okay, so I'll finish my question, Dean. When will the advisory group be formed? And am I correct in my understanding that the plan is not finalised, so works can't commence? So if you look at that line that says Whitianga Esplanade redevelopment, those are my two questions. Advisory group and the plan is not finalised.
Yep, so just through the chair, thanks for the question, Delly. So first of all, we need to confirm whether there's retained earnings available, and we're doing that at the moment. So I actually had a meeting with finance yesterday, but not all of the March financials are in, so I still can't commence the project. The first action, Delly, will be to recruit the project manager to run the project, and then they will establish the working group. So we're still looking to establish the working group at the start of the next financial year, but we need to confirm that the retained earnings are there before we move forward.
So when will we have a time frame? Do we have a time frame on that?
So
March financials?
Yeah, so March financials, but they're still not all in yet. So the March financials obviously reviewed and accrued in April, and they're just not all there yet. So in the next 2 weeks, I would say, Delly will be able to have a go or no go
Right.
type decision.
Okay.
So through the chair, my second question was the plans are not finalised or approved. Yep, that's correct.
No, so through the chair, the initial project plan that was prepared by Alan Titlady is already the subject of the council report that sort of recommended it going ahead, subject to there being retained earnings. So the first step will be for the project manager to come in, pick up the work that was done, probably, and I think it's indicated by Alan's report, have a bit of a revision and just check that they're happy with it. So, we would expect that in the first month or two of them being on board. First step is to confirm the retained earnings though.
Okay. Does that answer your question?
Kind of, because I'm not entirely sure that the plan that Alan prepared is the right plan, and that adequate consultation has taken place, but we can have that discussion later when the project manager is on board. My second question, am I allowed a second question, Madam Chair?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Re the cycleway development. The community board will need to push this through the annual plan. So I'm aware that, we have our eyes on that annual plan. There's going to, just raising that will need a little bit of enthusiasm behind it.
Yeah, okay. I'm just trying to think back to the hearings, whether we heard much from speakers about it. Okay, yep, that is certainly something that we will need to, and then also be mindful of in our LTP when we think of a wider sort of cycle strategy, and potentially look at picking up the plan that exists and making cycling available wider around the ward.
Absolutely.
Okay. Did you have another question? Oh, we can't hear you. Oh, you're on mute.
Yep, that was my two for the moment, but I'll give others the opportunity, presuming that everyone's read the CapEx report.
Absolutely. Right. Does anyone else have any questions around the CapEx report? Okay, I do, and it is around, I can't find it. The South Highway West, it talks about engagement. Rip this apart and find it. Needing to do some engagement, and I'm just wanting to understand if there is any anticipated issues. I should have put asterisks next to everything.
It's through the chair, it's 2727 at the bottom of page 14 on the agenda.
Yep. Sorry, thank you. Yes, so it says adjacent landowner and businesses engagement is ongoing.
Yep.
landowner has stepped back from previous engagement on land purchase, and I'm just wondering if you anticipate this to be a big issue.
I have no idea. Ed will know.
Is Ed online?
I don't believe so, no. Through the chair, I will find out.
Yeah, if you could, Andrew, and come back to me.
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Today.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'll find out.
Okay. Did anyone else have anything with regards to the CapEx report?
Leon's got his hand up.
Hi, Len. Oh,
Morena, can you hear me?
yes.
Hey, welcome everybody. Thank you for including me in this. So,
I didn't know that.
can I just? I'm an observer, but I just have a question because I've been asked this a couple of times on the side. And Ricky, you've talked about this before. That dust issue in South Highway, the local people. Is that?
That's exactly
that's the one you're talking about. Okay.
What I'm asking about.
Okay.
And Andrew's going to come back to you and I today with an update.
Yes, I will.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thank
I need to
you.
speak to Ed.
Okay. Sorry. Did you have anything else, Len?
Not at this moment. Don't.
Okay. Does anyone else have any other questions? Okay. I have a question around the Cook's Beach treatment plant upgrade.
I think there was a question.
Caroline has a question.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, Caroline.
Through the chair, just clarification, please, Heather, if you could on the gold card.
On the gold card, yes, so apologies, there's been a typo on that one with a cut and paste. So the action that was completed was an informal briefing with the board in April, and we anticipated having a formal report to the board for the June 14 meeting. All going well.
Thank you. Great.
Right, sorry, any other questions? I'll look when I ask that question now. Andrew, I have a question around the Cook's Beach.
Yep.
The land acquisition for the wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah, we've projects 2650 and 75 are, of course, connected. We've had a valuation received, which is beyond extortionate, and we're trying to work our way through that at the moment. So the land issue has to be resolved before we can do any more work on the treatment plant upgrade. So Ian Smith's looking after that for me at the moment, and that is still ongoing.
Okay, is that something that we could do under Public Works?
We might need to, yes, absolutely. But then in that regard, there will be a timing issue. It won't be done this year. I will speak to Ian. I know he's working on it, and I know we've had we're speaking to Hoppers as well about the valuation that we received, but it is extremely high, extremely high.
All right, thank you for that.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions of the CapEx report?
Yes, through the chair, I have a question.
Yes, Peter.
On the Cook's Beach Lakes Management report, there's reference to discussions ongoing with DOC and WRC reuse of grass carp. I would have some real concern over that and would like to know at which stage and if that idea will come back to us for further discussion.
Yes, my understanding is that it will come back as a report to the community board once all of the review has been taken place.
Through the chair, I've been having some discussions with staff in regard to that issue as well. So we are expecting some more information to come through.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Right. Anything else? No? And just, Andrew, it wouldn't be a meeting unless we talked about the RTS site in Whirianga.
Oh, I thought you forgot about it.
No, not at all. It's very red on my page.
Unlikely to be forgotten.
Can you just give us an update? I know that there's a review happening, just so that everyone's aware.
Yeah, we had a workshop on Monday with the design team, the internal solid waste team, to crystallise and confirm what all the design requirements are for the RTS. That's been done. I have a sign-off sheet that's going round at the moment, and I have a prospective meeting next week tomorrow with the designers and our peer reviewers to review the current design against those requirements. The chief executive has got a gentleman called Ian Morton, she's employed to review what we're doing, and we're working with Ian and the design team at the moment. So work on site has stopped completely until we resolve this. So we're looking at the design at the moment and opportunities to modify the design to both increase with the operator as well, with waste management, to see how we move forward with a go-forward plan at the moment. That's where it is at the moment.
So can you give us a time frame on that? You said work has stopped. We're doing this review.
Yep.
The review's expected to wrap up in...
I can't tell you exactly what the time period is, Rika. I would hope it's between now and the next couple of months. So once we've had the update meeting next Thursday, we'll know what we need to do, how we need to modify the design, and how long that's going to take. So I would request that I'll give you an update at the next community board meeting and have some dates for you.
Okay, Andrew, I think John's got some questions as well for you.
Yep.
So my question is that at our last community board meeting, we had an update from Bruce in regard to this, and my understanding was that this was just quite a procedural step in regard to looking at the designs because the project had already commenced.
Yep.
I'm taking it now from what you're saying that issues have been identified as part of that review and that you are now having to change the designs. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, we've got, for example, John, through the chair, we're talking to Waste Management, the new operator, about things like the compactor and whether we need a pit or a flat slab. Their advice is a flat slab. We've got a pit at the moment, and we might change that design to as per their suggestions, and it will improve health and safety as well. So we're looking at nearly everything at the moment. The layout of the RTS is very much unchanged, but it's how the buildings function that we're looking at the moment.
Okay, through the chair, is it likely that these changes will bring about a review of budget for it as well?
Definitely, definitely.
Any indication as to whether those amounts are likely to be significant sort of changes?
I can't tell you at the moment. I haven't got a firm idea of how much they will change the budget, but the intention is to drive economies of scale through the design and see what comes out at the other end. I know that we will we will need further budget for the project, but that could be a phased approach as well. So, and also involve some work in the LTP. So it's early days yet, John, but keeping the budget to a minimum is at the forefront of what we're trying to achieve.
Well, as through the chair, it'll certainly be at the forefront of my views as well, from a representative of the ratepayers of this community, who will be very disappointed, really, that this project is in such a red state, and now in a redesigned state as well, at the stage that it's at. So I'll be following it with a great deal of interest.
Good.
Through the chair, could I ask, the current transfer station able to handle the load that's being put on it with these delays?
That's a good question.
Yes, it does.
Thank you.
All right, are there any further questions of Andrew on the RTS or anything with regards to the work, the CAPEX program? Okay.
To the chair.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't got a question, but it's just a feel in the community. There's a lot of people. This is just like taking forever and ever. This is just what the feeling I'm getting, and sometimes I walk fast past people because it's like they're asking and hammering the same questions to me. What are they doing? What are they doing about the RTS station? What's happening? Where's the rubbish going to? When is it going to happen? There's a lot of questions.
So
it's not a question. I'm just letting you know the feel of the community.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, Beth.
Thank you.
Beth. And I think, Andrew, sort of following on from that, when we do have a clear go forward, we really need to do some pretty good comms around this project for our community, so that Beth can go to the supermarket and not have to walk past.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Any other questions of the work out of the CAPEX program? We've got a mover and a seconder.
Did we have a mover?
Did we have a mover and a seconder?
Yeah, it was Bess and John.
Okay, all those in favour, please say aye. Oh, sorry. I see Len has his hand up.
Thanks, Rebecca. So look, just to let councillors and community board members know, I will be asking the chief executive to look at a workshop specifically on the RTS once we've got a bit more information. But the questions that are coming up on a regular basis are, was the design adequate to meet the needs? Was the budget that was allocated by the previous council in the LTP, was it adequate to meet the design requirements? And if we circle back to that original budget, was the budget based on just a number, or was it based on the design that went in front of council at the time? And those are the questions that we'll be asking, and there's some gaps in there. So I've asked for a workshop specifically on that, because there's a lot of questions that we hope will be addressed by the review that's being done at the moment. The review was a good move because we need to revisit this and make sure that it's fit for purpose on a budgetary level and design level, and having waste management in there, I think, is as the new contractor, is going to be really helpful. But it has caused delays, and we're aware of that.
Thanks, Len.
Thank you.
And just touching on the Sheriff Block, we had a really good tour of that site a couple of weeks ago. Andrew, you were there, of course.
Yep.
But that's going to be a fantastic community space once that is complete. So thank you for organising that. And
yep, no problem.
Yep, perfect. All right, all those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, carried. Right, that takes us to item 4.1, which is our action schedule on page 23.
Excuse me, Madam Chair, there was an additional appendix on the Matarangi water upgrade. Did you see that one?
Oh, that's a normal part of our report. Sorry, did you want the wastewater treatment plant upgrade?
I was just interested to hear what Andrew's summary of that was.
Andrew's left because we've moved and seconded him.
Andrew has left because we've moved and seconded.
Okay, but we've got Bruce. Hi, Bruce.
Mr. Hinson. People just keep popping in here.
Sorry,
right, Bruce.
Andrew's gone. You have to put up with me. Yeah, so Matarangi wastewater. Still moving forward on that one, just very slowly. So the next thing we're doing on that is we're waiting for a resource consent hearing date with the regional council to go to a hearing on the resource consent for the wastewater treatment plant. Obviously, we need to get the resource consent for the treatment plant before we can then confirm what design requirements are to actually construct the new wastewater treatment plant there. We have, as you may be aware, done a number of upgrades on the current site, which means it's actually working really well. We've installed a new type of aerator, which is working well. So things are actually going pretty well on the site. The ultimate would be we go through the resource consent and we actually don't need to build a new wastewater treatment plant. We can actually make the current one handle what the consent requirements are. I don't think it's that likely probably, but definitely we'll be pushing in that direction if we can. So so hopefully that gives you a little bit of information of where we're at.
Oh, thank you, Bruce, because that was my question, was if we could avoid the expenditure of a completely new plant and have capacity in upgrading the existing plant, that would be a fantastic outcome. Do you see any barriers to that?
It's really just around the quality requirements through the chair. It's really just, quality requirements for the resource consent. Obviously, that treatment plant is a older style treatment plant that we've added some membrane filtration units, some additional aeration, UV bits and pieces like that. However, they can only go so far on the quality requirements. So if we move into a space where we need to go to a much higher level of quality, we would need to move to a treatment plant such as the one at Whitianga, which obviously is big and expensive. So agree 100% with you, councillor. We want to avoid that if we can. But yeah, we'll just have to see how we go through that consent process. Always unknown and a bit of risk there.
Through the chair, one cheeky comment. When I read these project reports, particularly the Matarangi report, I'm very fortunate that I'm married to a water and waste engineer, because some of those acronyms, I'm sure that the community board don't know what they mean. So it would help if things were in brackets at the side, whoever prepared that report, just so that people can at least Google it and find out what it is.
Yes, no, through the chair, I don't disagree. I normally, my team love acronyms, and I normally get in front of them and try and kill them or provide an explanation, but a few slip through my eye as well. So yeah, apologies about that.
It's inherent in all engineers, I think. They love a good acronym.
Good acronyms and initialisation, definitely, yeah.
Thank you, Bruce. Any other questions? We've got Bruce here. We can ask the hard questions. No, all right. Thank you.
Yeah. Just on the one thing through the chair I could add while you've got me on screen is I did listen in on the update for the work program and the refuse transfer station at Whitianga. So we definitely are pushing to try and get the go forward plan finalised by the end of this month, by the end of May. So 30 May, we want to have the go forward plan landed. And I guess it's a very difficult situation for everyone, and I understand that, particularly for elected members in the community at the moment, that we're kind of waiting and feel like we're treading water, waiting to find out where we're going. So again, because we're doing a review, we're taking the opportunity to really go back and do everything, belt and braces, 100%, make sure everything's in place, everything's documented, doing a really, applying some more rigor to the process. So it sounds there will be changes, but a lot of it will stay the same, I think, which is what Andrew was kind of saying. It's not that we've thrown the whole thing out and we're going to start again, but there will be some changes. And until we get the go forward plan, which I'm confident we're moving in the right direction, we're on track with that, then we'll be able to come back out with those really good comms that we talked about to try and explain the situation, how we've ended up in this situation. Mayor Len raised some good points in his last comments, and I think we need to make sure we package all that up so that we can do the best of explaining to our community exactly how we ended up where we are and where we're going, what the way forward looks like. So yeah, so we'll look out for that end of the month.
Okay, thank you. And I think a workshop would be a great idea with councillors and community board, just to make sure that everybody's aware and has the same understanding.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. 100%.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Right, we were just about to start with the action schedule. I just have, may I have a mover and a seconder to receive the action schedule, please?
I'll move.
Thank you, Peter.
Yep.
Bess, John, you got that?
Which one?
Bess, thank you. Just some of these dates are a bit funky. That's the first comment from me. They're all in
Oh,
July.
yeah, look at that. That's pretty cool. isn't it?
Yeah, so I'm sure
Good spotting.
there meant to be some other time frames there, but it's probably just an Excel thing.
I'll go back to the previous one and see what those dates were. Thank you for spotting that.
No problem. Do we have any comments on the action schedule? Any questions? Do we know if those 2 trees will look like they will survive? Yeah?
Yeah.
They look?
Yeah, they're looking pretty happy. I mean, vertical trees often fall over and continue to live, so I think that they'll be fine as they are at the moment.
And what this relocation of trees?
And I think Bess raised that. That was the relocation after you went out to the boating club about the trees on the bund. So we asked our parks staff and they said that it's probably unlikely they'd be able to be relocated and survive that. However, what they're going to do is they're going to get a tree surgeon specialist arborist to have a look at them and make an assessment on that.
My understanding that would be one of the conditions of that piece of work. From what we talked about when we were on site.
Yeah, through.
Sorry, I wasn't on site. So
no, yeah, that's why I was looking at that.
Yeah, through the chair, I think it'll come down to what's in the resource consent application. So there's always the requirement to avoid, remedy and mitigate. Obviously, the ideal thing would be able to tree spade them or uplift them and move them to another location. But if that's not achievable, then generally resource consent will require replacement plants as mitigation. So yeah, but the conversation you're referring to is, yes, there has been some discussions with local contractors as to how that could be achieved, and there was a level of confidence from local contractors that that could be achieved. I do know that the parks staff were out there yesterday or the day before because they came and grabbed a site plan from me on their way out there. So I just haven't heard how they got on.
So if the club doesn't move to the location they're looking at, those trees won't be touched, will they?
No, there'd be no need.
No need to move.
No need to, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Through the chair, I just want to mention just about the bike park. John, I'm looking forward to liaise with John Moore, the bike park and also community patrol again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has anyone done their community patrol? Oh, you have?
And
How was it?
And Chrissy.
Very quiet, but no, it was interesting to see where they go and focus on, and trying to engage with some cars just parked in random places. Got the finger instead.
Oh.
So I don't know
I'm
really
looking
what that
forward
was
to
about, but no, they seemed pretty happy looking at building sites.
Yeah, sure.
So they get, burgled.
Yeah.
Through the chair, Caroline, was it during the week or?
Friday
weekend?
night.
Oh,
I spent
okay.
my Friday night out.
You
till
picked
2
a hot
o'clock in the
night.
morning.
Oh.
Wow, till 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, 11 till 2.
Wow, okay.
I believe Chrissy went as well, so she might want to update.
I do wanna-
She's there.
Laborator.
Chrissy? I don't want to make you speak if you're not feeling well. No, she's not on mute. No, she may be opting to not.
She's gone off mute, just can't hear.
Oh,
Might be right.
I see you've gone off mute, but we can't hear you if you're trying to talk to us. No, okay. All right, well, we will all get our dates. Unfortunately, you'll have to book again. And
Friday night, I think.
yeah,
John rang me and we talked about joining the circus because we had to juggle our time.
oh, right, yeah.
We went out to the bike park early on. There was one car there, so they take the number plate. And then at the very end, after 3 hours, we went back and there were 2 cars there.
Okay.
Don't know what going, maybe it's his Friday night parker, who knows?
Good to know what area it covers. Where they, how far to patrol.
Oh, yeah, so how far, like in terms of, do you go out to Wharikaho or?
Yes, right out to the northern end of Wharikaho.
Right, okay,
And, yeah, bike park, southern end of South Highway East. Yep, and around town, but they do it randomly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a great little setup they have and
Well, it is.
dedicated volunteers, eh?
Yeah, I mean, it's not you're sitting there just sort of in the car, you know, it's not exactly spacious, so you have
Yeah.
to stretch out. But, you know, the spotlights on top are quite fun.
And as I understand it, you can't get off?
You can't get out.
You're not meant to get out.
Get out.
But if you see anything suspicious that may need police, then because they're communicating with the National Police Headquarters.
Oh.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I think, yeah, they do need more people. So it doesn't keep falling on just a few.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and 3 hours out of the month. I think it would be good to promote that publicly. Yeah, because I was surprised the police, there are only 2 cops on duty. Yeah.
And are they doing the same thing? Are they out and about patrolling or are they?
Yeah, I think so, because we went back at one time and they weren't there, so I'm not sure what they're up to.
So Caroline, do you know, is this every night or just certain nights or just the weekends?
No,
I was looking at the schedule that we were emailed. I can't recall if it was every night.
I don't think Sundays
to call
and Mondays.
Dom.
Yeah, I was looking at that. Have a look at that schedule they sent
Yeah,
us.
I'll go back to the
Yeah.
schedule.
All right, is there anything else of our action program, action schedule, sorry? No, so you're just going to look at those dates?
Yes.
Okay,
Fix it for next time.
all those in favour, please say aye. Opposed? None? Carried. We're just going to keep soldiering on. Chairperson's report, which is item 4.2, which is on page 25. I do have one correction here, which is around the Anzac services that were attended, and that was in Hahei, Whitianga, Matarangi, not Cook's Beach. So there's just one change there. And I guess I could add to this, there was a meeting, Chrissy was there, Deli and myself were there, just with the folks, the ratepayer chair group from Hahei around the bollards, the bollard that is looking to be implemented there. That community group have done some of their own community consultation and asked around whether their community wanted or feel that it's necessary. And Penny was able to share a really good bunch of feedback and data and things like that. So I believe those conversations will be ongoing, but just so that you know that a meeting did happen.
So through the chair, just a question to start. Where are we currently at in regard to the bollard?
Have we got any of our teams on?
Okay, all right.
So I can speak a little bit about it, but not a great deal. A meeting was held with some staff and Penny Clayton and Brent Harries as representatives of the Hahei Ratepayers Association. Dali Rekawat, that Christy was at that. And it was really just a kind of an initial meeting to have a look at where we're at and gauge what the ratepayers were thinking, and they've come up with some comment and commentary that now staff are looking at that and we're progressing there. So I don't know what the answer will be or where it will progress to, but it was a pretty free and frank discussion on all sides. The Hahei Ratepayers Association went out and did a survey of all of their members, and on their Hello Hahei Facebook page, I think it's a Facebook page, so that went out to 713 members plus the Facebook page. They had about 170 off the top of my head responses to that. So they provided that information. We provided information on health and safety risk. And so we also had a health and safety person in the room. And now we all need to go away and
DOC were also there, and they have
Department
a
of Conservation as well.
perspective on it as well, in terms of
the
the Duke
department,
network.
because where the bollard is at the edge of the council land, and from there it's Crown Marginal Strip between there and the beach. So they had a perspective based really around the Waikato CMS, which was the plan they did with the Hahei community about dune resilience and biodiversity and all that kind of stuff. So they spoke with that hat on. So really now Derek Thompson, our Parks and Open Spaces Manager, needs to take all that feedback and decide where to from there. That's what I can provide. Sorry, John.
Yeah, and I asked for a specific time frame, and we weren't able to get one. So they're going to take that info away, and they'll reconvene. And Dahlia and I have certainly said we'd really like to sit alongside this as it goes to sort of final decision and things like that.
Well, are we able to ask that it come back to the community board before it's finalised, or?
Heather, to you.
Yeah, I was going to just pass it on to our Parks officer.
Right.
Yep, that's a good idea.
Through the chair, regarding that, is it possible that the invite is put out to the entire community board for any subsequent meetings, so that any of the people around the table who may be interested in this issue or have had phone calls from Hahei residents could jump in and even online and just follow that process?
We'll pass those comments on. Thank you, Dali.
Were there any other comments on the chair's report? Right, I didn't take a mover and a seconder for that, so may I have one, please?
I'll move.
Thanks, John. Thanks, Bez. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None, so that's carried. Right, so that takes us to our public excluded part of the meeting. And for this, I do need to ask the public if they can vacate the room. And can I have a mover and a seconder to take us into public excluded, please? Thanks, John. Thanks, Peter. Can we stop the recording, please? Thank you. Thanks for coming.